Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History with me, Amanda Halley.
And this month's episode of What We're Into. Over the past 4 or 5 weeks, the Ultimate Fashion History channel has gained about 10,000 new subscribers. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us. And may not know what We're Into is. Well, I describe it as the Ultimate Fashion History monthly magazine. Basically a collection of things that are inspiring me or delighting me or intriguing me in any given month. There are a few continuums like the designer of the month, the food of the month, the cocktail of the month, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching on TV, and often I include museum exhibitions I've visited or places I've traveled to, but as we all know, we're stuck at home, and yet I still found things that I was into. Occasionally I put my trend forecasting hat on. I used to be a trend forecaster and give some future predictions, and I'll be doing that this time. But basically what we're into is just what is happening in the world of the Ultimate Fashion History. Right, what are we into? Before we start, just to remind you all that I don't do comments here on YouTube, but you can contact me through my website, amandahalley.com, and thank you to Mara for making that wonderful avatar of me. Isn't it beautiful? Better yet, join the Ultimate Fashion History Facebook group. We have thousands and thousands of members over there. It is so much fun and such great company in these isolating times. Right, what are we into? Well, the first thing that I'm into this month is to thank all of the healthcare workers, the delivery people, the postal workers, grocery store and convenience store employees, chefs and cooks in restaurants who go to work to prepare gorgeous meals to have delivered to our doors, the vets who are staying open to take care of our furry friends, all of the essential workers out there, and I know that many of you are counted in their number, going to work, risking your own health to ensure that life ticks on as closely to normal for the rest of us. Seriously, I send out a heartfelt thank you, and I want to send out another heartfelt thank you to all of you, everyone who is watching this video, because this month the Ultimate Fashion History channel on YouTube hit a landmark. We have over 50,000 subscribers now, and I know that this isn't a huge number compared to some of those beautiful big fashion history channels out there that we all know and love, but I only started the UFH 3.5 years ago, and I only had 2 subscribers, myself and my best friend Maria McCann. Hi Maria, it was her idea that I started the UFH, and so when I saw that we had reached 50,000, I was pretty stoked, and so thank you. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Right, what else are we into? Let's look at some fashion. I have discovered a new resort wear label out of Miami, and it's called Guadalupe, and I know that those of you who watch What We're Into regularly will be thinking, Amanda, the last thing you need is to discover a new resort wear label, but I couldn't help myself. I love it. Look at these beautiful, breezy, free and easy maxi dresses and caftans. They even have a little girl's line. How chic is that child? Doesn't looking at this stuff want to make you jump on a plane and swank around a stylish resort? Oh well, maybe by summer we will be allowed to. What else are we into? Well, I just saw the trailer to the new Wes Anderson movie coming out later in the year. It's called The French Dispatch, and it is a series of vignettes set in the world of journalism. As with all of his movies, it looks so visually engaging, with all of these golden tones in every shot. Of course, it stars Bill Murray as the magazine editor. It also stars Tilda Swinton. Doesn't she look fantastic? Wouldn't you love that dress and that hair? It's a star-studded cast. Frances McDormand features in it, as does Timothée Chalamet, and Adrian Brody, on whom I have always had a crush. I always have, that's true. It looks fabulous. The trailer was very funny. The list of stars is endless. I think I just caught Elizabeth Moss in one of those stills. Anyway, I'm excited about this. What else are we into? Oh, the next thing. I am so into it. I am too into it. So is my husband, Rupert. We have become obsessed with it, and it is all thanks to Ultimate Fashion History Group favorite, Thea Meta. This radio with 4 5 O's, radio.com. It's been around since 2016. How didn't I know about it? You can run the app on your laptop, but it works best on a smartphone. And basically, it's explained here. There's a map of the world. You pick a country anywhere on the map, and you pick a decade from 1900 until today. And it will play you songs from that country in the decade that you chose. The interface is fantastic, and what's so cool is that it's not all the obvious stuff. Sure, if you click on England in the 60s, you're going to get the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, but you get some really obscure stuff too. And believe me, you have not lived until you have heard Cambodian music from the 1960s. It is fabulous. You can spend hours and hours playing around with this app. There's even some surprises. In the North Atlantic, you'll see this little image of the Titanic, and if you click on it, you hear all of the songs and the classical music that was played on the Titanic on that fateful night. I love this app. Thea Meta, thank you so much. What else are we into? Another way that we've been traveling without leaving the house is by lying in bed on Sunday mornings with a cheeky glass of bubbly. And these are a growing collection of Assouline books titled In the Spirit of, ellipses, in the spirit of Palm Beach, in the spirit of the Hamptons, of Rio, of St. Bart's. There are tons of them, and they are all very glamorous places, and these books are gorgeous. They are full of beautiful photographs of people's interiors, wonderful writing, absolutely a vacation in a book. We love them, and we are pouring our way through all of them. Oh look, there's Marilyn. And it was when we were reading In the Spirit of Gustard that I discovered the next thing that I'm into this month. I am so into the work of the author of In the Spirit of Gustard, who was also an interior designer. This beautiful lady here, she is called Mandolyna Theodoracopulos, and she is the daughter of Taki, who writes the gossip column in The Spectator. I have spent way too long on Mandolyna's website, because so often when there is a famous and feted interior designer, I sometimes think that the rooms that they create are really informed by their own tastes rather than the tastes of their clients. And yet, Mandolyna's work really does reflect the tastes of her clients, because all of her homes are so different. Look at that wallpaper. I think I have to have it, don't you? I don't know who lives here, but he or she has obviously won a lot of awards. Look at all those Grammys, and look at that Oscar. Did I ever tell you that I was nominated for a Grammy Award? No joke, in 2015 I got nominated in the educator category for this pop music course that I teach. Didn't win, but I can say I'm a nominee. Anyway, look at this. This is where I am going to call on all of your help. I have written to Mandolyna. I haven't heard back yet, but my husband and I fell so in love with this table. I'm going to zoom it in so you can see it there. We want something similar, but we have no idea what this kind of table would be called. You see, it has that pattern on the tabletop and then the brass edges. We have no idea what to put into Google. If any of you know, drop me a line. What else are we into? I'm so into my new couch. No, that's not it. That's my old couch. We had this lovely old Chesterfield that my husband bought just a few months before he met me. And it's lovely, but when he got it, the walls were much brighter and there were no cats in residence. So just yesterday, the new couch arrived. What do you think? I love it. It's from a place called Article, just like it sounds, that produce reasonably priced mid-century modern style furniture. This couch looks like it's $6,000, $10,000, at least it does in real life, but believe me, it certainly wasn't. Just to compare, the old couch, the new couch, it's much more me, isn't it? Look, there's me sitting on the new couch with a martini. Rupert and I are the only ones allowed to sit on it. I am actually going to put police tape around the couch to keep those pesky kids off it. What else are we into? Okay, guys, brace yourself for the next one, because I am as surprised as you will be to hear that I, Amanda Halley, am absolutely obsessed with gingham. Pastel ginghams, coral ginghams. Look at this beautiful gingham shirt by Ben Silver, or this rather Bardo-esque number here by Michelin Pitt. And look at this gorgeous soft orange ruffled gingham dress by Free People. I am obsessed with gingham. I want it everywhere. I want bow ties, gingham bow ties on everyone. I want gingham plates. Look at these gingham napkins that I bought yesterday at the dollar store. Aren't they wonderful? Won't they look pretty on a summer lunch table? I am obsessed with bright pastel ginghams. Why? I honestly think it's because of COVID. As I always say, fashion is not an island, it's a response. And since the whole coronavirus thing started, so many people have asked me, Amanda, do you think that fashion is going to respond with interesting masks and apocalyptic overalls? Well, fashion always does respond, but often not so literally. I mean, in the Great Depression, you only wore a seed sack dress if you had to, and masks, they're a necessity. They're not a reaction, right? And of course, there will always be designers who try to make a buck by jumping on a very important necessity. But quite honestly, this is a way of embracing a crisis, these masks, rather than responding to it. And I think that when it comes to a real emotional response to all of this, I can see people gravitating towards gingham. Gingham is clean looking, isn't it? It's happy, it's innocent by its very nature. And I think that after all we've been through, I think we really want things that are clean, that seem healthy, that seem playful. And gingham by its very nature is carefree. And I think we're all ready for some carefree days again, don't you? And sticking with coronavirus, because there's no way to do this month's What We're Into without it. None of us can go to Disney World or Disneyland, can we? It's closed, but it will open again. But I was delighted to see that finally Disney parks officially released their secret recipe for the Dole Pineapple Whip. I never attempted to make it because I assumed it must be so difficult and so top secret. Guys, 1 big scoop of vanilla ice cream, 4 ounces of pineapple juice, and 2 cups of frozen pineapple. Blend it all up, try to get that swirl, and it really is the most delicious and refreshing thing of all time. Throw some vodka over it and you're well away. And in keeping with the spirit of sharing secrets, IKEA shared its recipe for its famous Swedish meatballs, and typically in perfect IKEA style and with its tongue firmly implanted in its cheek, the recipe came with diagrammed instructions. What else are we into? If you were watching what we're into in March of last year, I think it was March, I was waxing lyrical about my Elmo fountain pen. Well, guess what? I have found another fountain pen company that I'm obsessed with, Sailor. It's from Japan. It's been around since the 1910s and has the most beautiful fountain pens you have ever seen. Look at this one. It is called Spring Under the Stars. And look at this one with the bear on it. They are gorgeous. I'm obsessed with these pens. And evidently with Sailor pens, it's all about the nib. It's all about the nib. The most famous pen is called the 1911. And I have a birthday coming up. And if any of you are struggling with ideas for me, enough said. Anyway, check out their website and look at their ink. Even if you don't have a Sailor pen and you want some beautiful ink and interesting colors, check it out. What else are we into? I am obsessed with the royal family of Bhutan. Have you ever seen such a beautiful family? Clearly, the most gorgeous king and queen who are, who ever were, or who ever will be. I love how they wear traditional attire on state occasions. Look at those textiles. And I am obsessed with their first son. There he is, 4 or 5 years ago. They call him the Dragon Prince. And there he is again, the Dragon Prince. Is that not the most adorable child you have ever seen? He's a little bit older now. He looks like this. He is gorgeous, but of course he is. Look at his parents. I'm obsessed now from one beautiful couple to another. If you watched what we're into last month, you may remember me talking about the talented illustrator Bennett and his fabulous adult coloring books. I'll leave a link again in the description area of this video. Well, he and his wife, my friend Jane, are doing something quite extraordinary during isolation to put a smile on everybody's faces. It may seem like we are living through a bit of a wasteland in spring 2020, but Jane and Bennett are turning very creative with what they are calling reimagined classics. Here is a picture of Jane by way of comparison. Look at this beautiful woman here. And what they are doing is using props or clothes that they already have in their Toronto apartment, and with maybe just a tiny bit of Photoshop for backgrounds, they are casting Jane in some classic TV and movie moments, like this one, this one, this one, and Jane is both of these two. So much fun, so talented. And I was so flattered because, do you remember a couple of weeks ago, I did a Faith Film Fashion on whatever happened to baby Jane, and I put in a special request that Bennett and Jane give us their interpretation of Betty Davis, and they did, with just things found around the house. How creative, how imaginative. Why do you have so many wigs, Jane? Absolutely incredible. And while chatting about all of this, I learned something about Jane that I didn't know that I really want to share with you because I think it's so important. Jane is one of the board members and an instructor at the USchool in Canada. And what the USchool does, it offers musical education to Canadian youth, regardless of their economic status. Only 3 people, including Jane, run the program, which has over 900 students. And what a remarkable thing to do. I spent about an hour on their website today. I'll leave a link, and please be sure to check out their Ukulele Day competition. It is so adorable. Anyway, guys, if you have any small change lying in the bottom of your pockets or down the cushions of your couch, not my couch, mine is new, nobody's allowed to sit on it, but seriously, I think this is a very worthwhile cause to donate to, and well done, Jane, and thank you. What else are we into? Well, I was really into Atlanta journalist Gracie Staples. She's kind of the doyenne of Atlanta. In the Atlantic Journal-Constitution about fashion in COVID-19 isolation, and she interviewed me, and there I am. It was based around my episode, 100 Years of At-Home Fashion. I'll leave a link to the article because it's really fun. Gracie is such a good writer. But I want to mention it here because when this came out, I suddenly made a ton of new friends in Georgia. So hi, y'all. What else are we into? I didn't watch The Tiger King. I was scared that it might upset me too much. But we watched McMillions. It's on HBO and Hulu. It is fantastic. It's a limited documentary series about the McDonald's Monopoly game scandal in the early 80s. When we started watching it, we thought, well, how interesting can this be? We ended up binging it in one night, and if it was the characters that you liked in The Tiger King, don't worry. McMillions has a lot of them. What else are we into? Well, you know I like tiki things. You know I like Miami. And you know I like the Golden Girls. So imagine how thrilled I was to discover that Geeky Tiki have just released Golden Girls Tiki Mugs. There's the set. I love them, and what's so adorable is that each mug is of a different height that corresponds with the ladies themselves. There's Dorothy, the tallest mug, perfect for a dark and stormy. And there's a smaller Sophia, good for perhaps richer, more coconutty, creamy drink. I think these mugs would be perfect to enjoy this summer out on your lanai with a friend and a confidant. And yes, there's an Ultimate Fashion History episode on the Golden Girls. What else are we into? Sticking with Miami, I'm really into the pool at the Raleigh Hotel because it looks like this. Is that not the most beautiful swimming pool you've ever seen in your entire life? I only just saw it for the first time a few days ago in a book. The hotel is under renovations for the next 3 years, but as soon as it's done, I am heading down and I am getting myself in that pool. What else are we into? Well, damn you all to hell if you don't think that I am going to be into this. The publishing house, the Folio Society, have just released a new illustrated edition of Pierre Boulle's original novel, Planet of the Apes. The illustrations are by David de la Herras, and they are absolutely extraordinary. Such a reimagining. I am guessing that this is Nova running through the jungle. None of David de la Herras's vision borrows anything from the movie franchise. He created a whole new landscape, very informed by the 1930s, by Deco. I love it. And yes, there's a Faye Film Fashion episode on the Planet of the Apes. Not one of my most watched episodes, which is a shame because I think it's quite good, because I compare the costumes in the Potter franchise with costume in the Byzantine Empire. What else are we into? Oh, it's time for the food of the month, the cocktail of the month, and the designer of the month. Well, this month we had planned to have a very big party on April 11th. Can I show you the invitation that I sent out? Here it is. Let's celebrate spring with a night in Rio, Latin cocktails and Brazilian buffet. Well, I guess everybody had to have a night in Rio by themselves because we had to cancel our party because of COVID. But I still made the signature dish, this one, cachaça chicken. It is so delicious. I got the recipe from my favorite cookbook of the moment, Cabana, the cookbook, Brazilian barbecue and beyond. If you're interested in the recipe, drop me a line and I'll photograph the pages and send them to you. This is a beautiful book and this is a delicious recipe. The cocktail of the month, well, it isn't so much of a cocktail as just booze, but as we sit here indoors in isolation and it is still snowing where I live, This is hitting the spot. Lamb's spiced rum. But it's not just like any old spiced rum. This is somewhere between a rum and a liqueur. It's smooth. It's sweet, but not as sweet as a liqueur. It has notes of vanilla, ginger, demerara sugar. You don't have to mix it with anything. We just have it over ice with a twist of citrus, and it is perfect for sitting on the new couch while binge watching Death in Paradise. And the designer of the month? Happy birthday, Dame Vivienne Westwood. Vivienne Westwood is an April baby, and my goodness, from those extraordinary seditionary garments at the start of her career to those indescribably beautiful couture ball gowns, I think fashion is still grazing itself on Westwood's cutting edge. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of What We're Into here on The Ultimate Fashion History. Remember, you can contact me through my website, amandahalley.com. Join our Facebook group. Like and subscribe if you did, and I'll be back very soon with more on your UFH. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, and stay stylish. Of course you will. Bye for now.